Did you know a single kiss can be quite an event? It is far more than just two people's lips meeting. When lips touch, a fascinating hidden process begins. A tiny, bustling world of biology springs into action. You see, we share more than just a fleeting moment. We actually share a tiny part of ourselves. This happens literally on a microscopic level. Let us delve into this rather amazing exchange. It is quite something when you think about it. A simple kiss, yet so much going on. So what is this special stuff we might share? It often involves something called DNA. DNA is short for deoxyribonucleic acid. That is a very long and complicated name indeed. It is much easier to think of DNA as a recipe book. Or perhaps it is like the computer code for you. This code holds all the vital instructions you see. These instructions are what make you, well, you. From your toes right up to your hair. A blueprint for building a human being. This DNA is incredibly important for all life. It determines a great many things about us. For instance, it decides the color of your eyes. Or it influences how tall you might eventually grow. It is passed down from parents to their children. This is the very reason you resemble your family. Almost every person's DNA is wonderfully unique. Only identical twins happen to share the exact same DNA. It is the instruction manual for nearly everything. A truly marvelous molecule, this DNA. This amazing DNA code is packed incredibly tightly. It is found tucked away inside tiny parts of your body. These tiny parts are known everywhere as cells. You have trillions upon trillions of these cells. They are in your skin, in your hair, in your organs, and yes, importantly, even in your mouth. These cells lining your mouth are key to our story. They are how your DNA gets ready for a little journey. A journey from one person to another, perhaps, all starting from these humble mouth cells. Now you might wonder, how does DNA get into your spit? Your mouth is a surprisingly busy place, you see. It is lined with special cells, a bit like skin. These are called epithelial cells by the scientists. These cells are constantly being renewed and replaced. Old ones naturally fall off, and new ones grow. They are like tiny flakes of skin, but inside your mouth. And these cells, of course, contain your precious DNA, millions of them, shedding all the time. It is a perfectly normal biological process. When these tiny cells shed, they mix with your saliva. Saliva is that watery, slippery stuff in your mouth. It plays a big role in helping you chew and digest food. It also keeps your mouth moist and comfortable. So, your saliva ends up carrying these shed cells, and therefore, by extension, it carries your DNA. It becomes like a microscopic soup of you, in a way, floating around in your mouth, ready for an adventure. A liquid full of tiny bits of information, your personal biological signature, in liquid form. So imagine two people lean in for a kiss. It is a very common human expression of feeling, a sign of affection, of love, or sometimes just greeting. But on a tiny, invisible scale, something else occurs. When lips meet and saliva is inevitably shared, even just a small amount of saliva is enough. This saliva, as we know, carries those DNA-filled cells. A direct delivery system is now well and truly active. From one mouth straight into another one. Quite an efficient method when you stop to consider it. So, during a kiss, especially a passionate one, saliva moves. It travels from one person's mouth to the other's. This is not merely water and some digestive enzymes. It is also a collection of these sloughed-off cells. These cells, carrying the blueprint of life, also travel. One person's DNA physically enters the other's mouth. It might sound a little bit strange, perhaps even odd, but it is a straightforward and simple biological fact, a tiny bit of you shared with someone else, a microscopic but very real exchange. We are not talking about enormous amounts of DNA here. It is usually a small but often detectable quantity, enough for forensic scientists to find in some cases. You might ask, how long does this swapped DNA last? Scientific studies have shown it can certainly linger, for at least an hour, and sometimes even longer. So, a tiny trace of that kiss genuinely remains. A little biological souvenir of the moment, if you will. A reminder of the close encounter, at a cellular level. The evidence, however minute, is there. Now, what about your body's very own defense forces? You have an immune system, a vigilant guardian. Its primary job is to protect you from any harm, from nasty germs like unwelcome bacteria and viruses. It is almost always on high alert for invaders, things that it recognizes as foreign to your body. So, what does it make of this newly arrived DNA? Does it immediately sound all the alarm bells loudly? Does it launch a full-scale counterattack? One might expect a bit of a fuss. Usually, however, the immune system is quite calm about it. The amount of DNA and cells transferred is very small, and cells from another human are not typically seen as hostile germs. Our mouths are also quite accustomed to foreign things. Think about all the different kinds of food you eat. The immune system in the mouth is a bit special. It can be more tolerant of new things than elsewhere. So no big dramatic battle usually happens here. It is more of a quiet observation mostly. The body just processes it without much ado. Kissing itself is actually quite a physical activity. A truly passionate kiss can use a surprising number of muscles. Some experts say it can involve over 30 facial muscles. And believe it or not, it burns a few calories too. Not enough to let you skip your visit to the gym, mind you. But every little bit of activity helps, perhaps. Humans are not the only animals that engage in kissing. Chimpanzees and bonobos, our primate cousins, show similar behaviors. They use mouth-to-mouth contact for bonding and reconciliation. It seems to be an ancient and widespread practice. So through all this, we have learned something quite neat. A simple kiss is much more than just a sweet gesture. It involves a real, tangible physical exchange. A tiny, tiny bit of your unique biological code. This code travels from you directly to your partner. And of course, a tiny bit of theirs comes to you, all thanks to those little cells suspended in saliva. It is a microscopic yet profound dance of DNA, a silent sharing at the most fundamental level. Quite a thought, is it not? Does this intimate exchange mean you become part of them? Or that their DNA somehow changes your own DNA? No, it does not work in that way at all. The amounts of DNA are far too small for such a thing, and your body is very efficient at breaking down foreign DNA. You will not suddenly develop their particular eye color, or mysteriously inherit their amazing ability to sing. That is simply not how genetics operate in this context. Your own blueprint remains steadfastly yours. No genetic alteration is taking place here. But this exchange does carry a certain significance. It is part of what makes kissing such an intimate act. You are, in a very real sense, sharing something incredibly personal. Your unique genetic information, however briefly it lasts. It represents a profound level of closeness between two people, even if we do not consciously think about the biology. This biological sharing undoubtedly deepens the connection. It adds another fascinating layer to the bond, a subconscious acknowledgement of shared biology, a tiny merging of two distinct worlds. This DNA swap is truly a quiet, everyday marvel. It beautifully underscores the depth of human connection. Kissing helps us to bond, to feel close, to show love. It is a fundamental and cherished human behavior. Knowing that there is this tiny biological exchange happening makes it all even more fascinating, does it not? So the next time you share a kiss with someone, take a moment to remember the amazing science involved. It is a small wonder happening right under your nose, or more accurately, right on your lips.